big voicings and stuff like that, but really, I think the most important thing always is to serve the song, right? I would say that is the key as a guitar player. So I took that and I was like, screw you, I'm gonna make my own music where I can do all of it.
Let's go, let's see if there's another surprise with the click track intro again. Sorry, cover your ears just in case. Thank you, Owain.
And
In the UK too, man.
in the UK too. In Japan, where our headquarters is, I'm going to pronounce this in like a Japanese way, so don't freak out. Ibanez.
Ibanez.
Yeah, that's probably the right. But our that's probably the correct way. But our owner, our president, he would pronounce it, I think, Ibanez.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Wow, right?
Yeah, how is our company? It's a company named Hoshino Gakki. It started 1908, so almost 120 years ago. So it's a very long time.
Almost as old as me, or at least how I feel.
I'm actually 32. I know I look like Saruman from Lord of the Rings, but believe me, it's a hard paper round in Liverpool.
I thought you were 50. I saw your passport.
That's a scary sight.
So we started importing Salvador Ibanez guitars from Spain, and I don't remember the detail, but Salvador Ibanez, the luthier, he quit making guitars, so we started using the Ibanez brand. So probably the most correct way is, excuse my Spanish, but Ibanez.
Ibanez.
Yeah.
Ibanez.
That's what they call it in Spain.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Then that's the correct way.
Thank you, Otitama. So there we have it. Any other questions? This way. Oh, I can't see. Sorry, bro. Yeah. Great question, man.
So in terms of tones, I'm actually using the Neural DSP Quad Cortex. Does everyone know this unit?
Yeah.
Neural rep. What I'm essentially doing is controlling it via MIDI in the DAW. So I am MIDI switching. I'd never done this before. I think it was actually the last tour. I was always scared of it, you know, I felt like I'd lose control, and now I can't live without it, especially with these songs. I hate the idea that I'd have to jump from this tone down here. This to the clean and change pickup and adjust the volume. It would be impossible, you know, it's like it's gotta be switched in that way. But essentially, I don't know if you guys will see my laptop here. Anyone see that? So if we zoom out, These are all the MIDI switches for all my songs. There's hundreds of them. So there would be no way to tap dance. There's a song I'll play later on, maybe, where I even, because now I have the power to do this, I can drop tune some of the notes. You know, so like rather than bringing a 7-string out with me, which it was originally recorded on, I just literally trigger a transpose for the notes which need it, which is way cool, you know. I think shout out to Neural DSP for that. But yeah, man, so it's all MIDI switched, it's all tempo synced as well, so all my delays hook up to the metronome too. That's one thing which always drives me crazy, is when I hear delays that are out of time. I know it's something little, but it's aggravating for my ears, especially when we're using in-ear monitors. You know, it's a godsend. The only annoying thing is sometimes, like, when we play live, we'll extend certain sections, and if that's stuck on a loop, I have to override the MIDI switches. Henrik's the same, you know, like otherwise he ends up on crazy synth patches and I end up in the wrong key and stuff like this. That's the only thing you have to battle with, and it's happened once where I ended up, we were trading, me and another guitar player, and I ended up with this tone for my solo. As he's on shreds 11, you know, and you're just like, oh, not so fun. But yeah, that's essentially what's going on there, man. This guy over here.
What is your approach to like writing a good song or improvising?
Writing a new song, that's a great question. For those who couldn't hear that, it was what is the approach to writing a new song or improvisation? We could be here the whole clinic. If I go too in depth with this, please stop me. I do have ADHD, so my brain will just go. Maybe give me a little sign of like, Jack, that's enough. I'm falling asleep. But when it comes to writing new tunes, I think it depends on what I want to write. Most of the time now, I'm finding myself wanting to write grooves first. So like Fanboy, if you heard that one then, that started off literally with just a guitar loop going. It was from there that I orchestrated everything around it, if that makes sense. Shibuya Meltdown's another good example of that. I originally put in the tap and lick, that stupid thing. Doesn't really work on a clean tone. But I put that in first as a placeholder and thought about replacing it later, but carried on with the whole. Melody came later, if that makes sense. But then there's other times where melody does come first. So I remember looping for Taxman, those two chords, 2, 3, 4, and it was this that came out. So it depends on context, if that makes sense. But a lot of the time it'll be if I'm listening to, I mean, for me, if you ever saw my playlist, you'd probably laugh. It goes from cheesy 80s Japanese city pop to Sugar, to Dirty Loops, of course, to Bruno Mars. You know, it's all of this variation. But it could be a groove that I hear that I go, that's something I want to do, or something harmonically that I want to explore. I think a lot of people, when they listen to our stuff, or for example, Dirty Loops, that's a great example as well, is they hear all of this crazy harmony and they think, do you write that from scratch? Are you improvising that stuff? The answer is no, and they would tell you the same thing. We try, at least this is what I do now, is to write almost like a pop tune format, where we've got the groove and the main melody sorted. We'll treat it like a pop tune, like verse, chorus, and then something crazy, maybe a solo, and then back to the hook. It's only later that we come in and we do all of the crazy reharm stuff, if that makes sense. So that is all heavily arranged. Like, there is not so much improvisation in that sense. We leave that to the solo sections, and that's when we can have fun. It's the same though for Henrik, it's the same for Aaron, the drummer, Jonah. That's how they work too, and I think that's kind of the formula moving forward. Try and write a pop tune, even if it's cheesy as hell, and let the exploration happen later on, if that makes sense. When it comes to improvisation, this is a topic that I could come to forever. For me, first things first, the most important thing is always time feel. I don't care if you play one note, or 2 notes, 3 notes, so long as you've got good time feel, I'm going to want to listen. There's nothing worse for me than someone playing a million notes, but their time feel is all over the place. I will switch off, it doesn't matter, even if they are the coolest lines you'd ever heard. If it's not got good time feel, then it's not interesting for me, you know. It's the same, then the second most important thing is vibrato. And I know I'm going to sound like maybe a bit of a snob saying this, but we probably all heard players that do this. Where it's terrible vibrato. You know, that finger style? If I hear that, I'm done. I'm not listening to anything. It doesn't matter how cool it is. For me, vibrato. That's what I want to hear, controlled and in time.
Yeah.
You know? So time feel, vibrato, and then it's all about the subtleties. But my main approach is usually
I'll try and figure out what chord type I'm playing over first. Sometimes that can be a one chord loop, or sometimes it can be diatonic harmony, and I will look for chord tones, but I keep things super basic. I will always go back to a pentatonic based approach. You know, like, I would much rather hear someone make music with these 5 notes than someone just blast through scales. Like, I think that's a trap that a lot of guitarists fall into, you know. One exercise which I always used to give myself when I was first getting into improvisation, when I was learning like modal play and that application, was to literally limit myself to a pentatonic scale by itself. Say I'm playing over an E-7 chord. If I pick the mode of Dorian over the top of that, what I would do is go, okay, what's the most simple scale I can play that's a pentatonic over that? An E minor pentatonic works. So I'd get this down, and I would look for the extra notes that are missing there. So if I go through my scale, I'm thinking in terms of intervals. I would think, okay, in a minor pentatonic I have root, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 7, that's it. A Dorian scale, first note that's getting closer towards that is a major second or a major ninth. So I would add that into that pentatonic area, into that limitation.
Yeah. Dorian.
And all of a sudden we've got some flavour, you know. Still within the limitation of this area. I'd get rid of that again, go back to pentatonics, and I'd look for what's the next note of the scale that I can add in. So we're in the Dorian mode, we've got a natural 6 or a natural 13. I would add that into my minor pentatonic too. Now it would be, okay, we're getting into something a bit more cool sounding. But that's the idea, is you will come up with, I think, more musical phrasing if you limit yourself like this, rather than just thinking, oh, 3-note per string way, which just,
so good,
for me, doesn't work. There's a time and place for that if you're into shred music. But in reality, if you want to get musical phrasing, then pentatonic's your best friend. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Very good, thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry, I hope that wasn't too long and too boring.
Perfect. Perfect. Yeah.
Anyone? Yes. Oh, sorry, bro, your voice is almost as low as mine. Reharms? Yeah, man. That's a great question, actually. So, for those who didn't hear it, how would you approach reharmonization? I think there's like a few very standard ways. Like, I group chords into types, so within like a diatonic key, you know, you can replace the 1 chord with the 6 chord, for example. Or I could start looking at ways of, I mean, if we took like a basic chord structure like 1, 6, 4, 5. This kind of thing. Everyone knows that chord progression, right? 1, 6, 4, 5. What I would start looking at is, okay, what is the movements in between I can add into these? So, first port of call is going to be secondary dominance for me. Does anyone know what a secondary dominance is? I've seen a few nods. The church guys will obviously know this, but this is the idea that we imagine the 5 chord of the key as the 5 chord. Basically, we take the chord that we're moving to and imagine that that's like the new 1 and build a 5 moving towards that. So, in this case, if I'm thinking here's chord 1 of C major, we're moving to chord 6, but I want to imagine that this chord 6 is, say, a chord 1, and I want to build a 5 from there. So I look and I think, okay, my 5 is E of A, and then I can play any dominant 7 sound over the top of that. So I can play in a basic way. You could go like C major, then You play E7, super basic, A minor. This kind of thing. You can get spicier by starting to add alterations to this. So if I'm thinking in 7th chords, this kind of movement, all I did there was play like an E7 sharp 9, flat 9, some diminished sounds. Let's think if we're moving then to chord 4, our cycle was 1, 6, 4, 5. Chord 4 is going to be F, but we want to imagine this is 1, so we can build a 5 chord moving into that. That's actually C, so we can build a C dominant 7. Like this, and we get that movement. That 5 to 1 is probably the most important relationship in all of music. It's the most tense into the release. So you can do the same, even moving to the 5 chord of the key, moving towards the G. We can play a D7 before that. And that is our 5 coming back to C. So that new progression, instead of just being C major, A minor 7, F major 7, all this, G major could now become
Yeah!
That's like step 1.
It sounded like John, dude.
Then you can start looking at what's called secondary 2/5 ones. So you just play the 2 before that, so that would then become like
Ask him when he goes back.
2/5 in A minor is going to be B minor 7 flat 5.
So then you
Then a 2/5 into F is going to be G minor 7 C dominant 7. Now this is where we can get weird. We can go. So that new progression is now. Tritone substitution. You can look at tritone substitution, which is essentially cheat way on guitar. It's really easy to do because you just go 1 fret above the 5 chord that you're aiming for, or the chord that you're aiming for rather, and build a dominant 7, sharp 11 if you want to do that. So to quickly hear that, we're moving to A minor. We can go B flat 7, sharp 11. Moving to F, you could go G flat 7 sharp 11. Moving towards G. Now you don't have to play the dominant 7 sharp 11. Like in a lot of our tunes, we literally just play a straight major. Voicings, you can get as creative as you want, or as simple as you want it to. Doesn't really matter, but that progression would become then. There I saw
yeah.
So then we can start getting, I don't want to bore you too much, you can start getting into what I call like secondary 2/5/2/5s. So you can start adding in weird things where we start to get those movements. I demonstrated that earlier. Is say like I'm moving between A minor and F. I can play 2/5 here, so my progression could then go. We can tritone sub that, and we get this beautiful chromatic movement down. It gets silly. I mean, that whole progression, if I reharm that using those ideas, is I could get. Sorry, let's do that again. You know,
Nice.
and that's where
Great.
we're getting, that's too much. That to me doesn't sound cool anymore. But you learn all of those rules and whatnot, and then throw it out the window.
Yes.
So if I take, then this is when we start getting more into the territory of what we're doing with our music, or Dirty Loops do, for example. Is I like to just think of the melody note, which is, let's use an E to make this work. So imagine E is our melody note. If I have, I'm going to move chromatically all the way through and show you that there's no wrong note with a chord. E, if I was to build a chord around this, if this is my melody note and E is my root note, I can play any E I want. So I can play like a major 7 ID. I can play a minor 7 idea. I can play a dominant 7 idea. You know, we could go, let's see. Every note is going to work because it's an E. But then if I go to F and I keep my melody note still as this E, what is E in relation to F? I need to work this out. It's a major 7. So I can play any major 7 type chord I want here. I can play. I could also play minor major 7 chords. There's tons of options. If I go to F sharp, what is E in relation to F sharp? That's a minor 7 interval. So I know that it could be minor 7 chord type, or it could be a dominant 7 chord type. So I can get, or any. It's all up to me. You're in control then. Moving on to G, you could play dominant 7. That's a 13, it could be a major 13. Do you get the idea of the concept? It's like you just have to work out what's going on in relation to the root note. So if I do this chromatically, let's hear. So E, imagine, is our melody note.
Up to A.
This is the hard one.
Resolved.
So that's So then it gets, you know, like it's a case of sometimes we are literally playing random chords that don't make any sense. It's just they fit with the melody note. Does that answer the question, bro? Nice one, dude. Do you want, what's the plan now? You tell me, you're the boss. Sing! Not even my mother wants to hear me sing, dude. She disowned me. Do you want me to play another tune?
You record this one.
You know what? Usually I play one of my own, but seeing as we've been talking about reharmonization and stuff, can I play a Dirty Loops track?
Or I'll take over when I'm
Yeah.
I'll take
This track is called... Wait, I don't have a MIDI switching thing programmed for this.
It's going to be a natural one. It's going to be good.
One of these. This track is called Follow the Light.
Ready?
No, what did you?
That was it.
not much difference in terms of playability at all. It's just tone-wise, it's slightly different. It's the A change. Reach is different on this one, I think. Whammy bar.
Yes. To keep the price affordable, the locking tuners, they do have locking tuners, so for tuning stability, and the bridge, they're both are original hardwares, and the pickup as well. So yes, all in house, but we have a great team for that. So we do get a great sound and quality for the hardware.
And I mean, for those of you wondering about the bridge, you can still do stuff like. Oh, sorry, I'm still confused. Change match. I saw him nearly have a heart attack there, just in case.
Don't break it.
That's the idea. The tuning stability is still there. It's still in tune. I do believe. Are you gonna?
You did sign a card today,
Yeah.
just now, before the show.
There should be underneath one of your seats in here a little card. Do you all want to check right now? You take a little look. Has anyone found anything?
With a really, really bad handwriting.
Yeah. I'm still learning to spell, bro. Has anyone found anything? Yeah. Anyone found anything?
No.
Oh no.
Somebody threw it away?
No way. What's that?
Well, not at all. That's not it.
Sorry, did you say again? Someone find it.
It's a gum?
Bruh. It's a gun.
It's the one Ah, there we go.
Oh,
So,
Who was this? You? You found it.
dude,
What does it say?
do you want to come on stage?
It's a bad hand.
Dude, come on. What's your name, bro?
Ryan. Yeah, right.
Ryan, do you play the guitar?
Yeah, I jam a little bit. Like, I wouldn't say I'm like the greatest guitarist.
It's,
Yeah, sick. Nice. Well done. Motivation to
would
practice,
you like to have a
eh?
sign? Would you like to
Yeah, get it. Hell yeah. Hold this a moment. Yeah, yeah. Shut that.
Ryan, everyone.
Congratulations.
Maybe you want to talk a little bit about this one, Yoji? Before I play.
That is a beautiful guitar. That sunburn.
If I sign it, it probably drops in value, so...
So the guitar Jack's holding right now is the model number is AZ2407F Prestige. So this guitar is made in Japan.
Made in Japan.
Just like
Yeah,
me.
the Prestige edition.
Yeah.
Like every other Prestige edition. Sure.
So, you know, in Japan we make things very, you know, precise and in detail, and all the trains come on time, and we're crazy about that. So it's, the craftsmanship on this is like perfectly done, I think. What do you think of the body color?
If it was blue, it'd be cooler.
Yep.
I told you, man, tone is in the blue.
I think there is a blue version. Yes, yeah, there is a the blue version. The color code is SDE, which stands for soda light. Soda light blue.
Who names things, actually? Is it you?
Well, I have named one color code. Like I don't remember which one, but like one of my friends from the production team, he just asked me, like, give me ideas. Like,
Is that why? Is this one of the Wi-Fi codes?
well, that's the model number.
Oh.
The color codes are just three-digit letters, you know,
At the
or
back.
3 letters.
Yeah.
So yeah, so this is made in Japan. The hardwares are Goto, if you know. They are made in Japan as well. Yes, and these two have
Oh my god.
locking tuners. Yeah.
Lucky man.
And the difference
What a lucky
between
man.
the last one is the pickup configuration is HSH, so humbucker single in the middle and humbucker on by the neck. Yes. And that's it. That's the difference. Beautiful flame maple top, right?
And the binding on it.
Oh yes, it has a natural binding.
And abalone.
Yes, nice.
It's really pretty. You probably can't see grain on that from out there.
Yeah.
It's really 3D is pretty. From the,
And it has DiMarzio pickups, so
DiMarzio?
it does sound different than a lot of our AZs have has Seymour Duncan pickups, but so it's more like if you are into like heavy stuff, I think the DiMarzios work better.
I can play any of that. This kind of idea It's just a different flavor
Yes.
from the single coils.
It's very loud on the stage, by the way.
Sorry, bro.
So, would you like to do a song?
Yeah, would you guys like me to play a track with this song? This one is cool.
Three, four.
Oh,
there we go.
sounds great.
It's okay. Pay you later. I'm getting breakfast.
So, unfortunately, we're not just giving this away, but yeah, but a great guitar, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
feels wicked.
If you're thinking about new guitars, please do
Check them out.
check the AZ series.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely. What is next on our schedule, Mr. Tamai?
We have a Q&A corner.
Yeah.
But you did take a lot of questions.
Should we do some more questions?
We can do.
Yeah, let's do some more. This
I'm not
guy.
going on this.
Sorry, man. I've gone deaf after this. Given the RG a rib, you want me to play your guitar? Are we allowed to? Is that cool?
Do you want to?
I can. Yeah.
Just one.
This is interesting. Yeah. Question of the night. This dude's brave.
The flow goes. That's
Well,
What's your name? Sorry, dude. JC. Oh, I thought you nearly said AZ. Then it was like that would be.
Yeah. You should.
yeah.
Does it sound like that at home? No. It is a great guitar.
But I love the white hardware as well, and that looks really pretty.
Yeah, it has a black bridge, so.
It has a black bridge.
No.
do you think I should bring
Oh,
my guitar for your
okay.
car so I can get him to sign it afterwards?
Yeah, thank you so much for letting me play that, man. You're a star.
Also, not immobilize it.
Any
Sometimes
other
it
questions?
doesn't work, sometimes you manually unlock
Yes.
it. You can just keep it behind the
Best thing I learned from Rick Graham.
It's okay.
Well, because me and him never had like an official lesson together kind of thing. I would sit and try and copy with him. I think, honestly, man, it was watching his economy. It was watching his economy of motion. You know, like there was one of his lines which I'll never forget. This one, I think it is. So, yeah, when you see him do it, when I'm doing it, my fingers look like they're moving all over the place. He looks like a spider. You know, it's like everything moves so smoothly and effortlessly. But also his vibrato, man. Like, Rick has got a killer sound, a really
Yep.
wide vibrato. Like, listening to a lot of that from him really helped with my playing, I think. Yeah, man. Over here, bro.
You name your guitars. That's my fake name for your guitars too.
No. Sorry, no. That's such a simple answer, but no, unfortunately, no. Yes, man. How do I work on time feel? I think the best way is playing with other drummers and bass players. That's the first thing. But also using the metronome too. Like, I mean, the metronome gets a bad rep, but if you set that thing on 2 and 4 and you practice just different subdivisions, that's kind of the way to go, I think. So cycling through 8th notes, 16th notes, all the triplet subdivisions, and just see if you can play continuous lines or continuous chord patterns through that. That was the biggest help for me, man. You know, if we had more time, I'd demonstrate it, but yes, bro.
Filming the whole thing.
Like bits and pieces, but like
Sorry, bro, could you repeat the last half of that? My ear just decided to die. I think it's because my brain can't process any more than that today, to be totally honest. I'm trying to stay as simple as possible, but yeah, like, I don't have any kind of modal sounds or keys that I gravitate towards usually. It's a case of, well, we're guitar players, so the open string ones when we're alone like this, like anything where I can utilize those open strings so you've got context, like E minor, A minor, D, those kind of things were great too. And I'm a typical guitarist in the sense that I hate E flat. That's like the worst. What I'll always end up doing is transposing. Like, I know that we've got a jam coming up in one of the other places where they gave me the backing track for Superstition, and I was like, why would a guitar player ever want to play this in E flat? Everything just sounds. Why? You know, so I literally will put a transpose thing on. I'm not tuning this down, you know what I mean? I'm not playing up that octave, but yeah, man. So I guess to answer the question, yeah, and there's certain shapes I'll always gravitate towards, but especially in a setting like this, simple keys, keep it nice and easy. Yes, bro. Tone? Oh, this could be a long one. Okay, so I'm not one of these freaks that likes loads and loads and loads of different tones. For me, it's like I want one amp sound as my main lead sound, and it's just varying degrees of gain. So on like a patch like this, for example, this is just modeled off of an AC20, the Morgan amps. It's actually a capture of the plugin. My whole bottom row here is just that amp capture with varying degrees of gain. So this is like my cleanest tone with that. If I dig in with that, it's kind of like an edge of breakup anyway. The next one, which is the main lead, is just that, but I'm essentially pushing the gain. That's all I'm doing. So exactly the same tone. If I roll off my volume, you can hear in a second. I want something to react dynamically to how hard I'm picking, and also volume control. So if I go about halfway here, you can hear. If I go even less, it's almost clean. Shreds if I go to the super hot bridge pickup. Next one is the same thing. I've just called this shred solo, so that's to hide all of my mistakes, basically.
You remember that I used to call the band Sad Indigestion?
Yes, I remember.
It's that same tone where it starts experimenting with
I know.
octave on underneath.
I found that very funny when you sent it, when you sent the recordings, yeah.
Playing single coils sound too thin, especially as we get up into that higher range. This hopefully negates that. So with the octaver on, like all of these bends up here. happens when you get down into this range, but it just kind of fattens out that tone, you know, so that's essentially it. On the top row, I just have a very 80s down above inspired clean tone.
Very dirty Ibanez Yamaha bass. And when I had a look at it, everything was the same.
Essentially that sound.
But it's a
I
lefty.
have, what is
I'm a
this
lefty.
here?
He got it for me for 15
Just a load of
grand.
delay.
It's probably worth 10 times that.
I have a really compressed clean tone so that I can try and do the chord one thing.
Just about there. And he took it from me and cleaned it all up and reset it.
It's this idea, but that also works great for single line stuff.
And I've got you saw my father's name.
And then that same thing, but just with loads of reverb and delay. Oh, sorry, no, this is the 80s match. Right, sorry. I've mislabeled them here, that's funny actually. You can hear how washy that is. It's even picking up the squeaks of the whammy bar, but I like that, you know. So that's it. That's basically my approach. I want one main lead sound that's varying degrees of gain, and then two cleans. 80s sound and a basic funk sound. And that kind of covers me, at least for my music at the moment.
Maybe last quick one.
Yeah. Right at the back, because you've had to go forever, man.
Do you always have awesome leads and solos that just I love how they serve the songs? I really struggle with leads. If I have to record a solo, I've really got to sit with it. Are you just by now just throwing out solos and leads and then later having to relearn them, or do you really sit and think, what do I have to do for this?
Sorry, just that last bit adding. Sorry, man, I just missed the last bit when you said adding.
Do you sit with parts and figure them out, or do you throw something out and relearn them later?
Ah, that's a great point. Thanks, Wendy. So basically the question was, do I just throw out solos, right? Or do I sit with them and add things to them later? It all depends on context. So like in Kintsugi, the last album, there was some of them where I literally crafted a solo. So the way in which I do that is to loop the chords forever and record myself over and over again and take like the best parts from each one. And then there's other songs like Mugen or Sparky, where it literally was a case of that was the demo track when I sent it to Owain for production, just hit record and off we go. Like, sometimes I think that captures the magic better than sitting there writing and writing and writing. But essentially, if you are going to write, I think there's the best way to do that is to literally just improvise over and over again until something that makes cohesive sense over the chord structure works, you know. And I think some of the older guys, they get really annoyed about this. Like, some dudes will literally loop a whole 2-minute solo, and if they can't nail it in those 2 minutes, then it's like, right, no, I can't play that, I need to go and practice for 3 months. I'm of the mindset of like, no, get the idea out as quickly as possible while you're in that creative process. So if I need to take 10 takes over it and it doesn't sound great at the moment, then just do that. Other times it will work in those one takes and jobs are good and off you go, but this whole idea of having to practice it over and over again before you record, I don't believe in anymore. I think that takes away from the creativity, you know? Yeah. Does that answer the question?
Awesome.
And then, yeah, super quick this dude.
How do you approach improvising over non-diatonic chords?
Over non-diatonic things?
Yeah, good
It
question.
depends how quick the chord changes are, man. So, if I've got time, say we were playing something that's like E minor to G minor 7, then I will treat them like islands. So I'm thinking E Dorian, E melodic minor, whatever it is, the modal sound of that, and then jump between. But if it's very quick chord changes, I actually hate it. I don't enjoy this at all. I'm not a jazz guy. It will be all chord tone based. So I will take literally arpeggio-based ideas mixed with chromaticism, and then off we go from there.
Okay.
I think it's a funny misconception I think a lot of guys have, and I know most of us that come from the rock world hate this. We get labelled as fusion, but like that implies that we've studied jazz.
Jazz, yeah,
It's
yeah.
not the case. You know, like I am not a jazz player at all. My worst nightmare would be someone saying to me, "Oh, dude, let's come and sit and play over Autumn Leaves." No, I find it really boring to actually play. I love listening to it, don't get me wrong, but my brain just switches off. I'd much rather hear something with a groove or a backbeat, and that's when we can play the on-layer type stuff. It's just more fun for me. It's a taste thing, you know. And I don't like when there's, I mean, another great example of this is like Coltrane changes. I've encountered guitarists and they're like, "Oh, let's play over giant step," and I'm like, "Man, that is my idea of hell." Not something fun. And I don't even enjoy listening to people play over it. You know, it's like it feels more like an exercise than necessarily something musical to me, unless it's Coltrane. You know. But yeah, so I'm gonna get shot if that was on film. I know there's gonna be some jazz Nazis out there like.
I love jazz.
I know you do. That's exactly why I said no.
Jazz is nice, you know.
Well,
Does that answer the question though, bro? Yeah.
yes. One last song?
Do you want one last song? Something jazzy. I tell you what, we'll play something jazzy, but I'll let Henrik Linda solo over that part.
Yeah.
I'll play the easier bits. Let's see. This track is called UTFF.
Yes.
And loads of people ask, like, what does this stand for? It was essentially Henrik Linda that named it. If you Google UTFF, it's an airport in Kazakhstan, so that's one answer. It's their national airport. Or it's something that a very famous Swedish guitar player once said. I believe he was really angry on a Japan Airlines flight once because the flight attendant brought him the wrong drink or something.
What did he say?
Do we all know who I'm on about here?
Ingve!
Yeah, someone already shouted it already. So this could be Unleash the Fucking Fury.
Yeah!
Airport in Kazakhstan. You decide.
I'm fucking Ingve, dude.
Thank you for being so loud and waking me up.
Oh, he's a fucking brilliant player. He's the
Go
next
for your guitar as well over here.
Yeah!
I want to say something.
I'm recording a bit. I just want to see if I can get a question in.
Here. All the guys from Ibanez, Marshalls today as well. Please give a round of applause. Check out some Ibanez here in Johannesburg and over to Marshalls. Yeah. Do we have more time to do something cool now? Should we get JD back over here? I don't know what we're going to do, but we're going to jam. I think we have a backing track in E minor. Is that cool with you, JD? No.
Okay, JD!
And Jack Gardiner.
Yay! Don't steal the limelight now.
Ray wants to take group photo.
With the is that possible? Is it cool when we take a picture with you guys? Once again, thank you so much, Joburg. You weren't quiet at all in Cape Town, sir.
Yeah, oh yeah.
My name is Jack Gardiner. If you want to come and hang out after this, I'm going to be doing like I guess a signing session. Is it you? Some pictures, so come and say hey, hang out. Thanks again.
Happy birthday, you know. Happy birthday, bro. Oh yeah, man.
I think I was 23 once, I remember.
Yeah. Once upon a time, eh? Even me, eh?
Just tell you, I'm 79 on Tuesday.
Yeah.
This is 97 in off record.
Thanks for coming through.
Yes.
It was awesome seeing you
Yeah,
for so long. Yeah,
I like your beanie.
Ibanez.
Well, my son works for them.
Oh, is Jaden your son?
Sorry?
Who's your son?
Wayne.
Oh, wait. Okay, nice.